All right. Welcome to the Holiday Cube Draft number one. Uh, this is a new YouTube channel. I'm going to be recording gaming footage, all sorts of things. Obviously, right now I'm doing a Magic the Gathering online cube draft of the Vintage Cube. Um, this pack isn't very exciting. Probably my favorite card in this pack is going to be Coalition Relic. Uh, Other picks I would consider: Drowned Catacomb. Fixing's always good. Honestly, that's about it. This pack is super low power. Coalition Relic's good because it keeps us open and is fixing. It's good in a lot of decks. It puts you from 3 mana to, if you hit your land drop, theoretically 6 mana next turn. It's pretty powerful. So, we're going to go ahead and take this and see what comes up next. This pack is a little better. We have one of the best signets. We have one Power Stone, which is also quite powerful. We have Impulse, which is good card filtering. And we have a Jace Architect of Thought, which is just a nice blue card advantage engine. Other than that, in the pack, we have Monastery Mentor, which I think could be pretty decent in the cube. Short Fang, which is kind of an enabler in the black deck, which I don't think is quite good. Searing Spear is a typical, removal spell. Armageddon, that's a powerful card. If we end up in an artifact-based deck, might actually try and pick one of these up. Grave Titan, it's a good finisher. Same with Stormbreath Dragon. But I think my pick here is going to be the Dimir Signet. It's good to get the early ramp out there. And the fact that it's blue makes it a whole lot better. Ooh, so we have some spicy ones in this pack. Trinket Mage is usually pretty decent. We don't have any targets right now. But we do have Tezzeret Agent of Bolas, which it's pretty good to get this early on. It looks like we already have like a good amount of artifacts in our deck for being almost 3 picks in. And Tezzeret can just be a powerful win condition in a deck where I'm ramping into planeswalkers and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and take him. Some cards to note: Trinket Mage, Makeshift Mannequin, the lands, Goblin Guide even. Alright, this pack. This pack is, again, not the greatest of packs. So my thoughts on this pack are, I'm either going to take Force of Will because it's just a counter spell, or I'm going to take Scrubland because I can pick up one. I might play white down the road and be Esper, or I might just not be in black or blue yet, or I could pick up like a Polluted Delta, or rather Flooded Strand, which will make it a blue-black land. I think for now, I'm just going to take Force of Will and try and cut blue as much as I can. That way, I can hopefully end up in a better blue deck than someone else. So this pack is not super great for us. I might take this Batterskull here. Normally I would take like Gifts Ungiven or Glacial Fortress. You know what? Instead of it's between Batterskull and Mirror Battlesphere. I think I'm leaning towards the Battlesphere. I'm usually more excited to have that card. It ends games quicker. Batterskull is just more resilient. I think in this case I'm going to take the Mirror Battlesphere. If we end up picking up something like a Tinker, this is like a little better. So we'll go ahead and grab this Battlesphere. Alright, this pack. Again, not too exciting. This has been a very low-powered cube draft so far. There's not much that I'm thinking about in this pack. Oblivion Ring is a decent card, so is Utter End. I think I would actually take Utter End if I were between the two. Mana War, again, is another thing. I mean, I could take Porcelain Engineer as an artifact, but I don't think that's very good. Other than that, none of these cards are too exciting over here on the left side. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Oblivion Ring, actually, now that I think about it. We might not be in black. We'll go ahead and take that. Alright, so we do have some stuff here. Sundering Titan's a good finisher, especially in an artifact-based deck. Ancient Tomb is, obviously just a good ramp kind of card, especially with all these colorless cards we have. Selesnya Signet, again, just Signets are pretty good. This one's less good. It's not really in our colors and is in colors that already have ramp. Tamiyo is also pretty good, but I don't think this is what the deck is really going to be looking for. I mean, she's pretty universally good, but I think you can get better. I think I'm actually just going to take the Ancient Tomb here. It'll have us get more explosive draws. Alright, here we go. This is something we're looking for in this deck. Kuldotha Forgemaster. It's not, insane like it can be in other places right now, but, 1 a 5 and a 3/5 sometimes is decent in the cube. We can stop aggressive decks and stuff like that. And then on top of that, we're going to have a high number of artifacts, it seems, in this deck, and we can, use it to tinker out like a battle sphere or something. So, we'll go ahead and take that. Now we're back to our first pack. This pack still is not powerful. Not that I really thought that it would be any different. I'm not too excited by anything here. The only real cards I could think about taking are Geist Sustained Draft or Mana Tithe. Mana Tithe is closer to being to what we're doing, so I guess I'll take that card. That's not really something I say a lot when I'm drafting cube. Alright, well, here we go. There are some good cards in this pack. I think Mentor is pretty good, so is Armageddon. If we end up being in a more control deck, Mentor I think is better. Armageddon could have a higher payoff, but I think Mentor is going to be better more often. So we're going to take that. Alright, well, here we are again in the situation of... I'm not a huge fan of Augur Bolas. He misses a whole lot. He's usually... Look at the bottom 3 cards of your library. But he is probably the best card in this pack still. I think Cloudguard Ranger is pretty unplayable. I guess here... we take Rishadan Port. Maybe we end up in a deck that wants to play that, but probably not. Land Tax, probably the best card here. It's good sometimes. At the very least, you can board it in on the draw. And here's a Porcelain Engineer. Evidently, we are in the mono white beats deck. White seems pretty open. So moving into pack 2. I mean, you're looking for the typical things right now. Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, Tinker. Really, any of the any of the Moxen, Black Lotus. What we have instead, we have a Sphinx's Revelation. We have a Metal Worker. I think the Metal Worker will reel around. Anticipate's not bad. I think those are the notable cards in the pack. So I think from there I'm going to take the Sphinx's Revelation, since we seem to be in blue-white. It's a good, stabilizer. And then we're going to look to wheel something like the Metal Worker that'll allow us to have explosive draws. This pack does have some interesting cards. Fastbound is a pretty powerful card, and it's in the same pack as Crucible Worlds. I think what I'm looking to take here is something like this Polluted Delta, just pick up some fixing. Wall of Omens is also a consideration, but I think I'd rather just have the fixing right now in this deck. So, go with that. Fetch lands are always good to take. You can always pick up your fetchable lands with those later on. Alright, here are some good cards. In this pack, I really like Moat. There's some decks that just can't beat a Moat. Mystical Tutor's another good one. In our deck, probably finds the Sphinx's Revelation most of the time. Other than that, you're looking at Bloodstained Mire, you're looking at Watery Grave. Both are reasonable picks. I think I'm just going to take this moat. It seems like we're pretty heavy white, and we'll have to maybe pick up a way to win with that. I mean, like, what are the chances we can beat our own moat? I guess we have a Tezzeret, so that's the lock through moat. Yeah, sure. We'll pick up moat. Alright, here we go again. There's some good cards in this pack. I'm just going to take Counterspell. But some other cards to make note of. Necropotence is good for the Storm deck. Bring to Light. I think most often I've been playing it in Storm. Same with Wheel of Fortune. This is sort of the Storm pack. Roast is not a bad removal spell. Academy Runes is another good land. Especially, we could wheel it back for our deck. I'd be pretty happy about that. Seek Their Way. White's pretty open right now. I imagine it'll wheel. Same with Dragonlord Dromoka, potentially. They're both decent cards. I wouldn't be too excited to ever pick them. Alright. This is the kind of card we're looking for. Sphinx of the Steelwind. Lets us get over our own moat, and is just like a pretty great finisher, especially if we pick up something like Tinker type effect. So, we'll take this. We already have the Forge Master to put it out there. Hopefully these people pick a little faster. We're looking to, I guess we are at the point now where we are still seeing new cards for this pack, I believe, right? I think we're six picks into this pack. Or 7, maybe. Alright. Again, there's some good cards in this pack. I'm looking at Ulamog, and I'm looking at Pentad Prism. Pentad Prism is just one of these cards that adds another artifact to our deck and mana fixes. Ulamog, on the other hand, just is a powerful win condition. 10 mana is not totally unreasonable to have. So, we might just, since we're going to wheel a card out of this pack, is Pentad Prism going to have any chance of wheeling? It would be like Rift Bowl and Blade Splicer are probably the ones to wheel. Well, we're going to take this Ulamog and see if we can wheel the Pentad Prism. Okay. We do have Staff of Domination and Metal Worker might wheel in the next pack. I think I'm going to go ahead and take that. Staff of Domination is a flexible card on its own, so we can afford to take that. There's no real other interesting cards in the pack for us. Temple of Enlightenment would be my second pick. So here's the staff. I'd like to pick up some more mana fixing and mana rocks in general from pack 3. Like, I wouldn't mind a Lotus one time, right? Hopefully, I think we have enough win conditions in the deck right now. Did I... No, this was the pack. No, it's not. It's the next pack. I did count wrong. Okay. So, hopefully we get Metal Worker next pack. And I'm just going to take the Temple of Deceit in this pack. Fixes for our black splash, which seems to be Tezzeret and Sphinx. I'm going to cut this Porcelain Legionnaire that's in it. Yeah, it looks like Metal Worker did not wheel, unfortunately. So, I guess in this pack, I'd probably I'd most likely play none of these cards. But if I had to choose one, the most likely answer is I'm going to take Sacred Foundry and get a fetch land to find it. So, Yeah, not much in this pack either. I guess we can take the Wall of Omens now. It does cycle itself, so that's not bad. I mean, Johnny, I suppose, is the best card here. I'm going to go ahead and just put him in the sideboard for now. He's not super great. Same with Seeker of the Way. This is Johnny slightly better. Still don't want to play him. Banishing Light is a card I will play, though. And it looks like Pentad Prism did not wheel around, unfortunately. But, you know, you can't win them all, right? So I guess I think we need some good ramp from this next pack. That's really what we're missing. Golgari Signet, that is a good one. That might be what we're taking here. It's a black splash, helps our black splash. On top of that, we're not missing out on too terribly much. If I didn't pick that, I'd probably won Ulamog or Cryptic Command. Probably not Baby Jace. Something to make note of here, there's a Zern Orb in this pack. We did see both Fastbond and Crucible of Worlds. Now, I find it unlikely that the same person got them since they were both in the same pack. But you never know. That is something we have to make note of if we see those cards in a deck. I'm going to go ahead and take this Signet and move on to the next pack. This pack's got an interesting pick for me. I'm going to go ahead. I like Phyrexian Metamorph here. Metamorph, very flexible card, obviously. It has the ability to clone anything. But I think the bigger thing here is that I can pick up a Scalding Tarn or a Tundra and just have better mana. I think in this case I'm going to go with Tundra since I already have the Polluted Delta. I think it wheels less often than Scalding Tarn, though I don't think either of these cards wheel either of the time. And I can hopefully pick up another artifact type thing like Phyrexian Metamorph. Well, I mean, there are, I guess, a couple cards in this pack that I like. Repeal and Supreme Verdict. Though I don't think you often need a Wrath in this format as much as you would need just a general answer. I think Repeal is going to be my pick here. It's not powerful, but it is just an answer all that draws a card. Alright, so again, this pack is fairly weak. Probably the best card in this pack is going to be Scroll Rack. It is an artifact, but not a great one. Okay. Well, we could take the Plateau to go with our Sacred Foundry. But I think I'm more likely to go ahead and take Vendilion Clique. Just as a good air beater that's interactive with our opponent. We could take Lingering Souls, but I think Vendilion Clique is better than that most of the time. It's a little unfortunate we're not seeing as many mana rocks as we could be. I mean, Time Twister is not the worst card. It does give us a way to just never draw out of the game. I don't think that we're missing out on much in this pack, so I'm going to go ahead and take Time Twister. It's not super powerful, but it'll do something. That is for sure. And okay, I can get behind these picks. Both of these Planeswalkers are quite good. I think Sorin might be slightly better because his ultimate is a little easier to get to. Not that that's what you're playing for most of the time when playing a Planeswalker, but I think in the cube it's a little more likely, especially if your deck is pretty defensive like ours. It is slightly easier to cast Elspeth, but because we have less creatures in our deck, I think I went Sorin. So, we're going to go ahead and take him. Alright, again, here's another good card. Vindicate. It's a nice answer all. We do have to consider that our deck is basically built, though I have some chaff cards I would like to cut, like Mana Tithe. Not a huge fan of land tax, especially in the main deck. Urborg is another good land, though. But I'm going to go ahead and take this Vindicate, which I think is powerful. So Zerrin Orb wheeled all the way around, so I'm going to say that no one has the Fast Bond combo. I'm also going to go ahead and pick up this Archangel Thune, which I think is another way to just get out an early beater. Early, with quotation marks. Day of Judgment is another considerable pick. I think it's pretty close between them. Looking at our deck, I think Day of Judgment might be better because we have all this high-end stuff. We might just need to survive. Alright. Not really much in this pack. I don't think Bob is good in our deck. So I might just take a Pithing Needle for the sideboard. I guess we picked up the Supreme Verdict, unfortunately. If I knew that, I definitely would have taken the Archangel in the last pack. Baneslayer Angel, I don't think is that great. Honestly, our deck, there's a few duds in it. Evidently, I wasn't paying attention when we took Weathered Wayfarer, but that's okay. I don't think whatever we picked there was getting played often in the deck anyway. It would have been a slight improvement. Here, I'm going to go ahead and take Maelstrom Pulse to hate it away from somebody. Same with Living Death, I suppose. It's also a card we could theoretically play. Exalted Angel is not the worst card. I think it's a little slow for our deck. So here we are, almost at deck building. I think our deck is basically almost built. There's a few cards I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of the Scroll Rack in this deck. I'm not a huge fan of Staff of Domination. Not even a gigantic fan of Force of Will. Don't have a ton of blue cards, and 5 mana is not the price I want to be paying for my counter spells. There are some good cards in this deck. I think our top end is pretty ideal, but we have to get up to it. We don't have a ton of mana ramp. Our deck is pretty fair. Luckily, we have a bunch of Answer-Alls to permanents, so that should come in handy. It might be pretty hard to kill us. Overall, I don't think this deck is too bad. What's our artifact count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 artifacts? It's not incredible. I might want this Pithing Needle in the deck as an artifact that is also just something I can hold to name something relevant. What would I cut for it? I do think it's worse than Force of Will. Yeah, maybe not. I think it's just not good enough in the deck. Some other cards I could pull out, like Mana Tithe. Land Tax will be good on the draw. Exalted Angel could come in against aggressive decks. Yeah, not much going on in our deck right now, honestly. I'm feeling pretty mediocre about this. Let's see what Moto suggests. 553. That's probably about right. That would give us, what, 5 black sources, 6 white sources, and 8 blue sources. Is that good? Yeah, we never were. I could, like, do with one more white source. I think I'm going to drop a swamp for another plains. so that we can hit double white easier. Other than that, the only real double cost I have to worry about is blue, which we should be fine to hit. So, looks like our deck. I will see you when we get to the first round.